All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. It's Wade T. Lightheart from the Prosperity Health Alliance coming to you live and loud from the Vortex in Sedona. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. It's a very important webinar that we will be discussing today because there's so many people that are struggling right now, right? I'm just going to put this in, how to overcome the financial adversity. I'm just typing this in so as we get, so hang on. Sorry, hang on one second. There we go. They require me to put this in on Facebook. So we'll get everybody on there. All right. Now we should be good. We should be good. Oh, I got to do it a little bit different. Of course, they give me a little, sorry, I apologize for all that, but we got to get this thing down right. They're asking for all these extra things. All right. So that should do it. Good. We're good. And now I think we're live on Facebook. So sorry about the little delay. We're going to kick it off again. I'll do another quick start. I know we got people on the Zoom webinar already. Thank you for joining, and we're going to go here to the main screen. Yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you on there on Facebook. There we go. All right, I call it Viral-geddon. So Viral-geddon, how to overcome financial adversity in these uncertain times. The reality is, I know there's a lot of people right now who are really hurting, and they're hurting for a couple things. Obviously, there's the uncertainty around the health challenges. There's an incredible amount of conflicting information out there, and I've been abreast to as much of it as I can. I've heard, everything from crazy conspiracy theories to deep state stuff to medical opinions, local, state, provincial, country by country, and then you have all the Facebook theories and all the Instagram theories, and then you have the spiritual perspective and the financial thing. But here's the reality. Here's the way I see it. And I'm going to get to why I'm going to share this in a second. But the one thing that we can be certain about is the uncertainty that all this has caused people. It's a lot of uncertainty. And, Tony Robbins talks about there's basically 6 human drives: the drive for certainty, the drive for uncertainty, the drive for significance, the drive for love and connection, the drive for growth, and the drive for contribution. And anytime you have 3 of those lined up, you become addicted to that behavior. And almost everybody's doing it to get love and connection. And so if you understand that model really well, you can understand what happens. And for a lot of people, the way our brains are wired up, if you look at, I study neurophysiology, neurobiology, how things happen. And what the brain is always looking for is survival mechanisms. How do I survive? And the ego development is a component that is taking ownership of, I'm here to protect you. And, early on in my life, when my sister got ill, what that did is that set an incredible amount of uncertainty. And anybody that's been through a serious illness with yourself or a family member, is one of the most disconcerting things about a serious illness is the uncertainty that comes with it. You go to the doctors, they're using terminology that you don't understand, and it's all thing. And these are, supposedly important, smart people that are trying to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. And the reality is, you don't know. And when you're uncertain, you just kind of go with whatever everybody says. Same thing happens economically. So when people go through a breakup, when people go through a loss of a job, a failing of a business, the loss of some source of income, oftentimes a change in living arrangements like your house or things like that. What happens is it activates uncertainty in your body. There's a nervous system response that's throughout all the animal kingdom. We've heard about fight, flight, or freeze. So when you have what's called security, whether that's financial security, and I'm explaining the physiology of this before I get to the lesson, because I want you to understand how the mechanics of your physiology hijack your brain, hijack your thoughts, hijack your decisions. So in nature, let's just pretend we're like any animal. We're the rat, or we're a rabbit in the field. And the rabbit hears a stick crack. And it instantly freezes, right? It smells, its ears perk up. It all of a sudden you become hyper aware. And what we're seeing right now is we've heard this virus component, and we're popped up to see, we're looking around like the rabbit in the field. So is this a predator that's going to take me out? Okay. And in that moment, you move from, kind of a relaxed state of being, I was just sitting there nibbling the grass. I was going to work. I was having my life. I was paying my bills, my mortgage, all that. All of a sudden, the big bad wolf comes in. It's the virus. It's the economic component. And snap, I'm looking at, is this going to take me out? Now, what's happened in the modern world is we've gone out and we're looking on Facebook. We're looking on YouTube. We're talking to our friends. We're doing we're doing whatever. We're talking to our financial people. We're looking at this, and we're trying to determine, is this the big bad wolf or the tiger or something that's going to kill me? Now, if you think it is, there's a couple things that happen. So one, you run, you jet, you take off, you do whatever, you run. Two, you fight these conditions, and when you fight it, that's a form of denial, okay? Denial, anger, whatever. You want to blame whatever is the opposite of your political party, or you want to blame the representatives or government officials, or you want to blame the deep state, or you want to blame the bankers or the medical industry or Bill Gates or whoever it happens to be. You want to blame somebody. He's the enemy, they're the enemy, whatever. Or you want to fight that, or you're up there making posts, down with this, down with that. The other person is you're trying to gather more information, or some people are just, what happens is if you think this is the thing that takes you out, you can go to another stage, which is actually interesting because you go from sympathetic, parasympathetic, and you can go back to sympathetic. And this is when the tiger actually grabs you. What'll happen is you go into a relaxed state, or you'll see it in fighting where a guy gets knocked out. When you get into that super relaxed state, what happens is you're doing that to survive, to bleed out. So that's when people kind of freeze and don't do anything. They're staring blankly at the TV. They're staring blankly at the screen. They're just kind of doing whatever. And they're not doing anything. They're kind of checked out of the whole situation. So when that happens, it's just everybody has a different level of coping mechanism depending on how significant they think. So if you're in that fight or flight stage, you're still fighting, right? You're fighting, or you're running, or you're trying to do whatever you can in order to survive. Or if you've frozen, you've gone to that state where you think it's kind of hopeless and inevitable. And so what I'm here to do, to share with you tonight, is to provide some insight and some things that I've learned in my own life and how I've been able to navigate a number of different situations that were extreme. Now, I'm doing this because I want to help out. I want to share with you some of the things that I learned through my process in order to overcome the challenges that I faced in my own life, and hopefully provide you a framework to, you know, kind of get past whatever you're feeling right now, that flight or flight or whatever, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's what I'm hoping for you tonight, if that makes sense. So if anybody feels that way. So let me talk about something. There's a lot of you might be wondering how you're going to pay the bills. There might be, you know, your job, career, maybe you were at work, that's been just wiped out. You don't know what's going on. You might feel that you've lost your business. There's a lot of business. I'm getting calls from everything, every kind of thing that you can imagine. So, you know, I've been there. You know, I've been bankrupt. I've gone through complete financial destruction, been homeless, and I think I've had 3 total business destructions. I had 2 complete health failures. I've had, I don't know how many crushing defeats in sports. I've experienced public and professional humiliation. And, you know, wise advisor of mine told me one time, you know, the first time you go down to the basement, you know, into the pit, you don't know if you're going to come out of it. The second time you go down to the pit, you think, hey, maybe I can make it. By the third time, you're kind of comfortable with it. And I would say that's kind of where I'm at now. And I think there's a really big piece there. I did a seminar in Toronto about little over a year ago. I think is maybe not even a year ago. Maybe it was like 9-10 months ago. And I was talking about one of the biggest things that holds us back is our identity. And I'm going to explain that. So some Russian researchers did some, and I'm getting to the point here in a minute. I've explained the mechanics of the fight or flight. Now I'm going to talk about the psychology of identity. And then I'm going to share with you how you overcome it, your current situation. What's the strategy? What's the activities that you can take? So there was Russian researchers back in the day that did a whole bunch of study on fear and how fear works and what people were most scared of. And most people would say that they're actually the biggest fear is the fear of death. If you look at the fear of heights or the fear of driving or flying on a plane, they're kind of tied to the fear of death. But when they dove deeper, they actually realized that the biggest fear was the loss of identity, the construct of who I am, who I was, and who am I to be. And that's interesting because the reality is, as I was sharing with a friend of mine the other day, is like we have to accept, for most of us, we are at the very low end of information and the very low end of influence. And that's the reality. We're not presidents or governments or financial advisors, or we're not the medical director who's or you know, military general or any of those. Most of us are not in those situations. Those people are working around the clock and doing the best they can to deal with the current situation. However, they're doing that. And the bottom line is there's nothing you can do about any of that stuff. There's nothing that you can do, whether this is a conspiracy or whether it's a true health crisis. And frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And if you're wasting all of your thoughts, your actions, your feelings on trying to get meaning or understanding or comprehension of that, you're paralyzing your innate capacity to transcend the circumstances. So everybody I hear talking about, they're wondering about, when do we get back to normal? When do we get back to my old life? When do we get back to business as usual? When do we get back to I'm not under quarantine? When do we get back to that? And if you look at Viktor Frankl's work, Man's Search for Meaning, and the story of Holocaust survivors, the people that had the best rate of success and survival under those extreme conditions of hopelessness were the ones that didn't think too much about when the end was. And I'm going to encourage you to think the same way. I was just on a couple of webinars with my financial team. And these are very accomplished people who kind of help guide you how to plan out your business. And I did a couple webinars about that, about the 13-week rolling reserve. And you can expect that this is probably going to last longer than you think it's going to. I personally believe that we might be going for another 2-3 months. We might get a break for the summer and it'll probably come back again. And I think that if that happens, then the lockdowns and measures that'll be taken will be even more dramatic. But the one thing I do know for sure is that the printing of trillions of dollars, not just in the States, but worldwide, is going to have huge ramifications for years to come. I also know that the world has never been more interconnected than now. So if you look at the crisis back in, the Great Depression, if you look back then, it was isolated to, United States, and there's been depressions in other countries. Japan has been essentially in a recession for 20 years or depression. And these cycles come and go and whatever. And so the point of the matter is you're going to have to accept, the best thing that you can do is to accept this is the new normal. This is the new reality. Your life before the virus was then, and this is life after the virus. The second that you do that, you move out of the searching, or you move out of the denial or the anger or the frustration or the fear or the apathy or all the negative emotions that are stored with that. Just accept we're not going back to normal. The economy is not coming back like we thought. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be prosperous. What I'm here to share with you is if you're holding on to the old identity of how you did business, how you showed up at work, how you showed up at your community, how you showed up in your household, I think you're in trouble because you're trying to hold on to something that you don't have control over. So what they always advise when you're flying in a plane is that when the oxygen masks drop off, you put the oxygen mask on your first. And oxygen right now is your financial future. So what do you need finances for? You need finances for revenue. Now, I've talked about this over and over, but I'm going to repeat it again because there's probably people that didn't hear some of the other webinars. The first thing you need to do is you need to pare back all of your expenses to the best of your ability. All the non-essentials. And that's pretty easy right now because you can't go out to movies, you can't go out for dinner, you can't go that. So already most of us are seeing a shift in that. The next thing is you need to be recognizing that even when things come back, your job might not be there, your business might not be where it was. You may not be living in the same residence, right? Because it's going to be a much. So you need to take advantage of every single angle that you can get. Rest assured, all of us are in a fight for success. Now, here's the advantage that you have if you accept that this is the new reality and you let go of your former identity, however that was. You free up an incredible amount of thinking RAM, and you start looking, you're not trying to go forward, as I say, looking through the rearview mirror. If you're driving a car, you can't look back in the rearview mirror if you're going down the highway at 60 miles an hour. If you're going to do that, you got to stop and you're looking in the rearview mirror and you're backing up slowly and you're not getting anywhere and you're hoping to get back. What I'm going to invite you to consider is how can you move forward in the new reality, in the thing that the uncertainty of health and in the uncertainty of the economic consequences of this, which I think are going to be severe. How do you become prosperous? How do you redefine yourself right now in your business, in your relationships, in your home right now? And what are the things about maybe your old identity that you can let go of? right? Look, don't let your net worth define your self-worth. I've never been in that situation. And I'm very lucky. I had two very loving parents who grew up, and we didn't have a lot of money or anything. And I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that till I was maybe a teenager. I just thought that was the way it was for everybody. So I was lucky enough that there was not that association with my net worth was my self-worth. Even when I didn't have a dime, and it was, I can give you hundreds of situations. I won't bore you with the details where I'd go places, didn't have money to come back, or I would be out and down to my last few dollars, and the rent was due tomorrow and stuff. And what happened is I watched the continuous unfoldment of miracles over time, and which gave me a sense of wonder, gave me a sense of certitude. It gave me, I was able to draw on my spiritual sense and not be identified by the things in my life. And I'm going to encourage you to not be identified by the things. That's the opportunity. Turn whatever you can into cash. I think that's a great idea. Get the cash, get some cash in your life so that you can kind of extend things for as long as you might need to be, reduce your expenses, that sort of stuff. But then once you do all that stuff, start looking for what's the opportunity. Maybe you want to get out of that expensive house anyways. Now's the time. Maybe you can go and renegotiate your current mortgage or lease. Go do that. Have you applied, if you have a business, for the SBA loans and the payroll protection program, PPP? I went off and we did all that sort of stuff for my businesses. I have, of course, that's not so relevant for my magic business, but it is relevant for my Bioptimizer business and things like that. Look at all the options where you can make money. And I'm in a better position than most companies because we're online and we distribute products. But for you that have an magic business, you're in an incredible position relative to most of the world. And if you're doing this part-time or full-time or big time, it doesn't matter. Now might be the time where you upgrade your skills, because there are going to be a lot of people looking for a way to make money. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be open to listening to what a home-based business is. And one of the beautiful things about, for example, with Enagic, is that we have an incredible, sales, service, and distribution points around the world. We have an infrastructure that is extremely supportive, which is, I always call it, you get $1 billion infrastructure for the price of a $4,000 machine. It's the best business possible, and you're not having to navigate all those things. So you need to get really clear about the benefits of that. Maybe you haven't been doing presentations much, maybe you haven't been selling, maybe you kind of dropped off, but now's your time, right? So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to do a self-analysis. Look at the things in your life. Sit down with the spouse, sit down with your loved ones, sit down with your employees, and let's talk about the things that aren't working, what the things are. With the people who work for us in my other company, we share how much revenue we make each week. We give shout outs to the teams. We show them exactly what's going on. And when we just did our quarterly meeting, I said, look, so far we're doing really great. We're looking to expand the company. We're looking to take more people on. We're looking to grow through this thing because we're thinking about the opportunities. We're in the health field. We provide help for people's immune systems. I'm sharing this with you to kind of help you think, but I'm also aware of the downside, and I let everybody know. I said, yeah, we're keeping things going right now. We've applied for all these things. We're doing our stuff. We feel that we can grow past this, but we're also aware of the downside. The one thing that you want to do is communicate with the people around you. This is no time to have the pride to say, hey, everything's okay. You need to sit down and have honest conversations with the people close to you, whether it's business, whether that's friends, whether that's family members. Let them know what's going on, right? And then you'll find, particularly in family units and even business situations, your distributors, you'll be shocked at the support because they're going through the same thing. So you need to be the person to initiate the conversation. That's what leadership is. And it's not comfortable. Sucks. You're like, I don't know how we're going to pay the mortgage. I don't know how to, call your bank, call your landlord, say, hey, look, look, this is a situation. I want to make these payments. I want to be able to go forward. I'm not able to do it right now. What can we do together to help you? Do you have a mortgage? How can we help out? So the opportunity here is that everybody is, forced not to chase the shiny objects and to deal with the situation as it is, and to get internal and have the conversations that you probably should have had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years, 20 years ago, and find out that you've got more support than you think, and that it's a great opportunity to get bone crushing honest with yourself, with the people you love. And there's magic in that. There is a deep level of vulnerability. Share your fears, share what the upside is, share what the downside is. Talk to the people, your bill collectors. A friend of mine, he's my kind of one of my wealth advisors, and the first day, and believe me, he's not going to be negatively affected by this it's not going to make a difference in his life. First day, he called his bank about the car payments. He called his bank about his credit card payments. He called the bank about his mortgage payments. He got every of these things. He got things delayed. He got things dispersed. He got things extended. He made some deals to bring some cash in. What things can you liquidate for cash? What are things that you can let go of? Are you going to have to downsize and move to a new place? Maybe it's time to do that. Maybe you're thinking about doing that for a while. It's going to be a great market. People be happy right now to have people that have a vacant place. If you're moving from an expensive place to a lower place, maybe you want to go to that place. Take every action. So deal with the reality, put a list of the things that you're concerned about, then put a list over here. Well, what is the upside of that? What is the opportunities that this is presenting for us? A lot of people are surprised. Like I was talking to my parents right now, and my mom is so happy because my dad is not watching hockey on TV because there's no hockey. They're playing board games every night, which they used to do when they're young. And my mom is so happy. And my dad's having fun with my mom. They're connecting. They're having a great time. She's now getting her seeds out. It's wintertime where she's at, and she's growing her seeds. She's excited about her garden. They got social distancing, so they pack. They can't go out anywhere, so they pack a little lunch, and they drive off to some spot with a nice view in their car, and they sit there and they eat their lunch together and talk about things. And so it's an opportunity for more intimacy in your life, more vulnerability in your life. And I think that's an extraordinary thing. It's a time, I got another friend who is, you call me, he's a very successful businessman. His business for this year is completely devastated. It's a total wipeout. He had to lay off employees. He had to close a shop down. It's a retail shop. The losses this year he's going to take are in the millions of dollars. He doesn't know how long it's going to go. He doesn't know it's going to come back because it's tourist related. This is because the summer is his big opportunity. It's pretty intense. So he's got to go home. Now he's at home with his kids and his wife all day long. He's never been that way. He's never been that in the entire 15 years he's been married. And so now he's forced to adapt, and it's not comfortable. So when I'm sharing this with you, I'm sharing with you that some of these things aren't going to be comfortable, but the opportunity of getting uncomfortable is extraordinary. So I learned as a bodybuilder that working out and lifting weights, where the growth is when it's uncomfortable. You do the first few reps, the first few sets, you're feeling good and everything. But when the burning comes, the lactic acid builds up and you don't think you can do more, and you focus on it. Now, what is the one thing that can really help you in those moments is if you got a training partner, you got someone to help you push that, just give you a little push over that inch to get that last rep, or to shout at you and say, come on, you can do it. Don't quit now. And everything in your mind feels that you can't, but that little boost from your partner helps you out. Find yourself a training buddy. Find yourself that person that you can resonate with. Maybe you're single, maybe you're home alone, do that. Maybe your spouse isn't that person. So reach outside of that. Maybe they're just not there yet. Don't blame them. Don't be upset at them. Don't get angry at them. They're processing things out. It's an opportunity for you. So the key thing is to let go of expectations of others, to take an opportunity to be vulnerable and to communicate all the realities of that, and recognize that some people are going to be angry at you. Some people are going to judge you, but most people will respect you if you're able to communicate with them what's going on. And as you have more of those difficult conversations, what happens is it starts to create a relief valve on the emotional energy that's taken up the attention units in your brain. So I have a concept that was given to me by a friend of mine. And he said, you only have 100 attention units. And if you're spending time lying awake at night, wondering about all these things and trying to make everything okay and nicey pie, that's one thing. But if you sit down and tell everybody what's really going on, it relieves that emotional thing. And when you free up attention units that you might be taking up worrying or trying to find out or getting in that fight or flight mode, you free those up by having those conversations with the people close to you. Guess what? Now you've got those attention units that you can put on the future, that you can put on figuring things out, that you can take time. So every day I spend, I check my phone, and I have a total of 5 hours of screen time on my phone. Now, that's not meaning I'm mentioning it all in my phone. What I tend to do is I turn on YouTube, and I listen to YouTube when I'm doing other things. And I listen to something on what's happening from a governmental level. So I'll spend maybe 30 minutes on getting both sides of the aisle, because I know if you learn on one station, it's the Democratic side. If you turn on the other, it's the Republican side. The truth somewhere in the middle. And then I'll maybe get an independent perspective to understand that. I'll spend an hour listening to spirituality perspectives. I posted something the other day from one of my teachers on how to handle a crisis. For those who looking for a book, I would recommend Dr. David Hawkins' Surrender, The Pathway of Letting Go. He illustrates a process in there of how you let go of the emotional energy, the suck, all that sort of stuff that comes up when you're facing adversity. It's a very, very powerful book and a very powerful technique that you can use in your life. And I use it all the time when things come up. And I'm not immune to all this stuff. I've got lots of uncomfortable things that's gone on in my world, still is. And it's very helpful in dealing with the emotions. You can get into EFT, emotional freedom technique, that tapping technique. You can go online and learn those things to manage your emotions and your physical energy to get past those negative feelings. Those are very, very helpful. And then, I spend another hour learning about the opportunities that are coming in the real estate business, in the financial industry, when the wipeout comes, because I do believe that we are headed for some severe economic consequences. And I intend to prosper. I intend to do better. And I think you who are on this call or on this webinar have an opportunity to do that, because we're probably connected through the Enagic business or whatever. There's a great opportunity. People are going to need to find something. We've got a great business structure, a great product, a great compensation program that can allow you to produce enough prosperity in your life. And it might be the chance that you haven't had time to do. So what do you need to do? Now is the time to study up on your skills. I spend an hour learning a specific skill that I want to learn. So right now I'm learning about finance and I'm learning about taxes, particularly as they write, because I just moved to the United States and it's a whole different field. And I'm learning, I'm listening to people about it. I'm watching webinars. I'm listening to my tax account. I'm listening to real estate people, how things are going to look when this shakes out. And I'm ready to take advantage. I'm ready to jump into the opportunity. I'm ready to move forward whenever we get out of this. And I'm dealing with what we're dealing with just the best as I can. I can't go to the gym like I like to. I love lifting weights. It's a big thing. So what I got a little band workout that I do, body weight workout. I left the city that I was in to move out, which is, there's some consequences to that. So I don't have my same office space. I don't have some of my links, but I'm able to get out here and walk on the land. So I'm spending a lot of time walking, which is good for your blood sugar. It's good for your relieving stress, listening to these audios while I walk in a beautiful picturesque piece. If you haven't seen my Facebook pieces, I've put them up there, just some little pictures, because I have these moments and I think of everybody that can't get out. I think of the people locked in their apartments, and I'm thinking about people that can't move and they're used to it. And I'm putting those things out there because I want people to know that I'm not trying to do that to brag. I'm doing it to kind of be kind of funny. or to inspire people and to know that at some point this will pass. Some point this will pass. You know, our grandparents, they dealt with World War II when the whole world, and they shipped the soldiers off, and they didn't come back for 4 or 5 years, and a lot of them didn't come back. These are the generations that define us. We've been living a very cushy, a very soft, a very entitled, push button culture. And that's changing. And if you can shift your mindset, if you can shift your identity, if you can say, you know what, now is the time where I become a lion in the jungle. I know there's a lot of things that can kill you in the jungle, but I'm not going to go out sniveling. I'm not going to go out expecting. I'm not going to go out blaming. I'm going to jump out like a tiger or like a lion, and I'm going to walk into the jungle, and I'm going to win. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to see what other people see as disaster as an incredible opportunity. I'm going to see challenges, opportunities for growth. I'm letting go of the past. All that stuff that I didn't want to get to, or I didn't have time to, or maybe I didn't even like that job. Maybe the business was eating me up. Maybe I was working too hard. Maybe I wasn't spending enough time at home. All those things. Make the list of the things. Don't just look at the good things that have been taken away from you right now. Look at the bad things that have been taken away from you now, and go, it's actually, there's some good trade-off here. What can I do now that I have this opportunity, that I have this quarantine, that I'm locked down? What can I learn? How can I grow? Do I need to learn? Did you struggle with sales? Learn sales training. Did you learn online stuff? Learn some online stuff. Did I not know how to do taxes, or did I not do banking? How can I leverage that? Where can I grow as a person so that when things, quote unquote, get back to kind of regular life, I don't think normal, how do I take this new skill set into the world, this new perspective? Because I'll tell you what, most people are looking to get back to the old, and they're waiting and they have anxiety about it. Let that go. And when you let that go, it frees up your mind to where you're going, right? It's like race car driving. Don't look at the wall when you're because you'll crash. You look to where the car is going, and the car goes that way. Well, I'm encouraging you to look where you want to go. Where do you want to go? Don't let this situation steal your dreams. Recognize that this situation may be just the catalyst for you to get your dreams faster than you ever thought possible. In fact, maybe the universe is conspiring in your favor and you weren't getting it before. So it smashed you up the side of the head, locked you in a room, and said, listen, you need to figure this out. What if that's the case? What if this is the greatest shift and the greatest opportunity? Because I'll tell you what, this is going to be the greatest shift, and it's going to be the greatest opportunity, and it's going to be the springboard for a number of people who see it that way. And it's going to be flat out total devastation for those who don't. And guess what? You have a choice. And this is the biggest choice that you are maybe going to make in your lifetime. This might be the biggest event to ever happen. I believe it'll be the biggest event to ever happen in my time from a financial economic level. And I'm not looking at it from the devastation side. I'm looking at it from this is the springboard. This is the moment we've been waiting for. This is the opportunity that's coming. How do I take advantage of it? Interest rates have never been lower. There's going to be a lot of people in the market that's going to be challenged. There's going to be so many different things. They're going to be, maybe you need to let go of a business. Maybe you're working at a job that you didn't really like anyways. Maybe that there was a skill that you were just holding you back from making a promotion in your work, and you're ready to take that on. Maybe there's a connection that you need to make with somebody in your family member that hasn't been working out, maybe a spouse or a child or a parent. And now's the time to reach out to them. Now the time to connect with them, because when you go through adversity together with people, you build a bond, and this is proven scientific. You build a bond that is stronger than any point in time. There's an old saying that a friend in need is a friend indeed. And you don't necessarily know who your friends are until you are in need, and how you do it. And that's not asking for a handout. That's asking for a connection and a depth and an honesty for you to really be vulnerable and to really communicate those things and to pool your resources. Because once you kind of let go of everything, it's like, well, how long can I live on beans and rice? I'm going to live a long time. I live a long time on beans and rice. I got protein powder. I got some, I'm good. You know, so I know myself, I've been saving a ton of money since this happened. I like to go to restaurants. And I've been going out to restaurants. I'm like, wow, I'm saving a lot more money. I came over here to do some videos. I'm working on video production that I didn't have time to do before. So I'm going to bang out a bunch of videos for some courses I want to do. I'm writing a book right now with my business partner. That's one that we wanted to do. We're going into that. And I'm sharing these things. These are the things that I did. So every time that I got beat down and all those things I listed early on, I recognized it was just feedback from the universe for me to get better, to get smarter, to get sharper, to learn a new thing, to pivot, to move forward. Keep moving forward, no matter what. Everybody gets knocked down. Everybody gets knocked out. Everybody gets hurt. And nobody gets out of this life alive. Nobody gets out of life alive. So your biggest fear about death, you need to accept that now. That's happening. Now, is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen every week? Nobody knows the day the numbers come up. So live each day as if you were going to die that day, unexpectedly. And let that identity, let that fear, let that experience from the past, let it die. Let that old identity die. You think about this. The fact that you exist right now is the decision, the hard decisions in extreme circumstances from hundreds, if not thousands, of your ancestors. Go back in time to the woman whose family was slaughtered and she's carrying her child across the plains, injured, bloodied, beaten, maybe raped. She's carrying her child across into unknown territory and found a way to survive. And that child went on to replicate. And that's your great, 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 great grandmother. Or how about the people that overcame war and survived prison camps, and they might be your great grandparents, or the people that sailed over from one side of the continent to the other, the people that marched over the mountains that they said was the end of the world, the people that survived the tribal warfare and fought through freezing and cold and famine and disease. That's in your DNA. You are the product of 10,000 generations that survived way bigger adversity than this. Huge. And the decisions you make now are going to echo 10,000 generations into time. And the question you need to ask yourself, are you going to be the person? Are you going to be part of the human race? Are you going to be one of the people that makes a difference, that they'll never know 10,000 generations from now that you made that decision, but you'll know in your heart, in this moment, that you made that decision today, and you made that decision to survive. You made that decision to thrive. You made that decision to be kind. You made that decision to be compassionate. You made that decision to be vulnerable, to be honest, to connect, to let go of anger, to let go of hate, to let go of fear, to let go of pride, to let go of apathy and shame and guilt and humiliation, and all of that stuff, and move forward. You are that person. You get to make that decision today, whether you've never been that decision in the past, because who you were in the past is gone. It's over. It's done. It isn't coming back. And that can be a good thing if you just choose to make it. So I'm going to invite you right now to take down a notepad, look at the things in the past that you've got to let go of, look at the good things, look at the bad things, look at them both. Look at the economic situation, make the best situation that you can, and then look at the future and say, what are the things that I'd like to do? Who is it that I want to become? How do I want to live my life moving forward when this quarantine and all this stuff gets forward? When you do that, I guarantee you are going to feel empowered. You're going to feel a sense of relief. You're going to get over the fear. You're going to get over the uncertainty, and you're going to accept radical acceptance of what is. And when you do that, you free up the attention units, you free up your creative process, you free up your super self, and you make the decisions that your ancestors did 10,000 generations ago, or even 2 generations ago, or last generation. Bottom line, you got this. Get your team, have those honest conversations, connect with a buddy. It's always good to have a partner that sees that way. Find that person, whether it's in your family or outside of serve. Connect on Facebook. Keep going forward. Keep moving forward. You can do this. I'm with you. You've got more support than you could possibly imagine, and we're all going to get through this. So I just want to say that to everybody on my team and everybody out there in the world and anybody that wants to hear it, that I'm excited about this time. I see it as an opportunity. I think it's going to be extraordinary for those who seize the day and move forward like lions in the jungle. And I think it's going to be absolutely devastating and horrific for those who choose to not embrace the new reality. The beauty of this all is you get to choose. Choose wisely. I'm Wei T. Lightheart from the Prosperity and Health Alliance. Lots of light and love, always from my heart and always with compassion. Take care and have yourself a great day.